Earlier this month, we saw our first stretch of 80-degree days. Lawnmowers went into action and trees began to bloom. And could you smell it? Pollen. Plenty of pollen. Allergy season has begun in central Missouri.
So it's interesting because every year we seem to say, oh, this is the worst year ever.
I used to tell patients, oh my gosh, surely next year won't be as bad as this year. And I've gotten to where it's going to be worse because every year it seems like it's getting worse.
Marcy Marks and Laurie Fowler are allergy and asthma specialists in Columbia. They both told me not only can you feel the allergy season expanding, you can see it too.
You'll see that yellow, that green dust on your lawnmower or your lawn furniture on your deck or whatever. People say, man, I just wiped it off. 15, 20 years ago, 25, we didn't see that. I mean, it really has been remarkable, I would say, especially the last 10 years, for sure.
We're seeing more. It's coming on stronger and in more abundance of it.
For this story, I teamed up with Climate Central, a policy-neutral nonprofit group of researchers, and they crunched the numbers over the past 50 years, and the data confirms our growing season and therefore allergy season has expanded by a week in central Missouri. And yes, a longer season means more pollen. But the amount of pollution in the atmosphere is also affecting the pollen count because plants feed on carbon dioxide, stimulating growth and higher pollen counts. For much of the past 800,000 years, the highest level of carbon dioxide was 300 parts per million. Since the Industrial Revolution, atmospheric CO2 has increased to levels not seen by modern humanity. Just this month, the NOAA Hawaii CO2 reporting site recorded a record with roughly 420 parts per million. As long as we keep burning fossil fuels, these levels will continue to rise, and the world will keep warming. A recent study showed pollen counts from grasses alone will double in the next 20 to 30 years unless greenhouse gas emissions are aggressively cut. Now, while humans as a whole need to do a lot of work to help future generations, currently, and on an individual level, both children and adults are being affected, and some don't even know it.
And when patients are really suffering, a lot of times people don't even attribute their symptoms to allergies. They think, well, it's this time of year, I always get a cold. And if you think about it, allergy takes a tremendous amount of energy. It's the immune system. So little kids, that energy's been being spent on not growing. And in adults, it's being spent on, oh my God, I'm so tired, I can't even sit up.
Sherry Miller is a Columbia resident who says she is greatly affected by pollen due to a reactive airway disease. She knows the real impact higher pollen levels can have.
I have year-round allergies here now. That has definitely been increased in the last 5 years. So I've noticed that I'm starting to have more sinus infections, especially in the wintertime, between November and January, because of the mold and the tree pollen that's dropping. It's one of those things you just wish you could get rid of it.
It's not going to change. It's probably going to continue to get worse. So the best thing to do is do everything you can to prevent the symptoms. And when that doesn't work, then see an allergist, see somebody who can help.
That's something everyone I spoke to touched on. Getting treatment can not only give both adults and children suffering from allergies comfort, but it can also save you money from an emergency room visit. Both allergists told me if you are nervous about the cost burden, give a local allergy or asthma specialist a call to at least talk about the options. There's a lot more to this story. We spoke with other experts from around the nation about other topics, such as ragweed and environmental justice. Read the full in-depth story at KOMU.com/climate.